All righty. Good afternoon, Lucille. How's it going today?
It's going wonderful. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much for asking. I'm excited to chat with you here a little more today because you have an amazing professional background when it comes down to being in the HR, talent acquisition slash recruitment role. So, if you don't mind, would you tell me a little bit about your professional experience?
Yes. I have a little bit over 25 years on the recruiting. I worked for waste management, and I assisted waste management doing all their job postings, as well as assisting other recruiters um, with the other recruiters doing job fairs, making sure that we communicate with the management to make sure exactly what they're looking for and the specifics on the field that they're looking for in the line of business, as they have multiple line of business. We make sure that on the job fairs, we interview
Mhm.
the candidates, went through their resume to make sure that they qualify for the position. We also make sure that once they decide that, we decided that they fit for the role, schedule meetings with the managers to make sure that the managers that they interview. We also participated in those interviews with the managers, as well as also follow up with the candidates as well with the managers to make sure if they decide to go with that candidate or not. Once the employee was either selected, we make sure that we provided them with the onboarding, making sure that they completed their onboarding correctly. Um, we did background checks as well, did the processing of the background check and drug test to make sure that they passed before they started. And then once if everything went fine and they met the qualifications and everything, then we just make sure that the employee they did their new hire training, as well as to make sure that they are set for them to start with a job. That's what I did with and on top of other duties with the
Mhm.
waste management, I also did that. The majority of the time, I did the recruiting with them. Uh,
That's amazing.
for Stellar Partner, I was doing payroll and human resource, but it was only two of us, HR manager and myself. So I really was the HR generalist, and I took over. The company is a company that has stores through all the stores through all the airports through the whole United States. So we had to do a lot of postings on hiring. So I had to post in all the social media, the positions, review also the applications, did phone call interviews because they were throughout the United States. In some of the locations we were able to go. In some other ones we did virtual interviews for the positions. Once again, we make sure that we provided the Tampa airport, well, not just Tampa airport, but all the airports, the employee, the candidate's information to make sure, because the airports are the ones to do the backgrounds as well as the drug test. They did the process once everything was clear on their end. Then they notify us for us to go ahead and start with the procedure on the onboarding and providing the new hire orientation and everything for the employee to make sure that everything was in compliance. We assisted the managers setting up schedules on the candidates that they wanted to interview. So we just make sure that everything was being processed, making sure that all the onboarding on the platform was completed and everything, and and benefits information was provided to the candidates once they became an employee and everything for them to start their job. Um, for Eagle Labs, I was a little bit higher on the management up role because I was the human resource manager as well as payroll and benefits manager. Um, Once again, I make sure I had to create the HR department. So I had to create the processing of the recruiting. They were just recruiting word of mouth. So I started the processing of posting the positions in Indeed. It's the only platform we posted on in the beginning. And
Mhm.
then we used some agencies as well, to help us get candidates, but the majority were word of mouth, so we had to stop that. And then once again, making sure that we interview the candidates, making sure that they fit to the position, scheduling with the managers, different interviews. We probably in Eagle Labs, we probably did about 15 interviews on a daily basis because it was a manufacturing company. So we constantly were hiring for production employees for different lines. They had 3 different shifts. So we had to make sure that we always had, based on what the clients needed, we had enough employees for each line, because the deadlines on the productions were short deadlines. There were weeks deadlines. So we had to make sure that they were completed from the beginning of the product, mixing the chemicals and everything, all the way to packaging and shipping them out. As well, we had to hire employees for the warehouse to do the packaging and everything. We had different locations within the state of Florida, as well as Utah and Idaho, making sure that we did the background check, drug test, as well. A lot of their employees were employees with only employment permits. So we had to make sure that they had all the documents that they needed to make sure that they can process, they qualify for the position and everything. And then once again, making sure once they were selected, making sure that they completed their own voting in the platform, as well as making sure that once they were hired, we would do new hire orientations to implement the policies and everything, and making sure that they follow the policies and everything before they start, and any training that needed to be done and everything.
Absolutely. And that was an amazing introduction, Lucille, and I appreciate that, as far as your professional experience. So thank you for laying it out for us here. Now, in your most recent role, you're working as a human resources manager, which of course we know that you were doing the sourcing or the recruitment for Eagle Labs there. Now, I want to know, because you've been doing, the HR, recruitment, talent acquisition for about 25 years, as you've mentioned. Have you ever had any mentorship at all throughout your career? And how did that look like?
Yes, I have mentored other individuals. At Waste Management, I was the senior HR coordinator, and when I was doing that, I had 2 individuals under me. I had, yes, for the payroll and everything, but also assisting with the recruiting and making sure the onboarding and everything were processed correctly while I was traveling through all the state of Florida, to make sure that while I was doing the job fairs, I had to mentor them. And if they had any questions, hey, this person is missing any information to complete their onboarding or anything like that, I will mentor them to guide them to what to do next. On Stellar Partners, I didn't have anybody to mentor because pretty much I was it. But when we decided to hire actually recruiter, I had to mentor this recruiter from scratch, letting, from the beginning, letting her know what the process is, making sure that she was following all the protocols and everything. But I was also assisting her because I had other duties as well.
Amazing.
And Eagle Labs, the same thing. I decided to hire an HR coordinator to assist me, and had to train her on how to make sure that the process, she was following the same guidelines of the process. I had to jump in and assist her as well, because we have so many employees that we have to constantly, the high volume of recruitment for Eagle Labs was very high.
That's incredible. My next question was what was the volume of recruitment? Was it, a higher volume, if you're comfortable in that setting? So that answered my question as well. So I appreciate the insight with that, Lucille. When it comes down to your experience, being 25 years, you've done the professional recruitment for, your entire career. You've done the mentorship as well. So I think that you have the skills that are very much transferable for roles such as this. So I appreciate that. Two more questions for you. As far as systems that you have used, what are some systems, if you don't mind? Letting me.
Um, for recruitment, for
Mhm.
posting, I have used LinkedIn, I have used Indeed,
Yeah.
ZipRecruiter, Career Builder, Monster. We have posted in all those, even Glassdoor, but we
Mhm.
stopped using Glassdoor for a long time. We weren't getting
That's
that
right.
many people, the right candidates from Glassdoor. I'm not sure why. But when it came to the making sure the onboarding for the new hires, were being processed and everything. I have used between Workday, Dayforce on onboarding platforms, ADP. I have used UKG. I have used Velocity, and I have used PeopleSoft and Oracle.
Amazing. Awesome. That sounds like basically all the systems that you can use for recruitment nonetheless. So that's incredible. Lucille, when were you looking to start a new position?
I'm looking to start within 25 and above, if I can. Mhm.
Awesome. And what are you looking to start perhaps as soon as possible? Do you need a week or two?
Immediately.
Immediately. Awesome. That sounds perfect to me. Well, Lucille, it's been a pleasure connecting with you and getting to know your professional background. I'm going to conclude this interview, but if you don't mind, sit tight with me really quickly. I want to chat with you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.